Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm here today to just jump into it, you know what I mean, and just talk to you guys about my creative outlets, those things that I do for fun, to be honest, and those things that I do to kind of express myself. And I'm also going to basically be taking you on the journey on how I started these things and how you can start too. So the first thing I'm going to talk about first is that this video is sponsored by Cricut. So I'm going to be sharing with you how I use my Cricut machine in the video. But for now, let's talk about my creative outlets. I'm going to be talking about 4 of my creative outlets, and then we'll go from there. So the first creative outlet that I have is makeup. Makeup, my first love. I love makeup so much, honestly. It was something that started off slowly. I started wearing makeup when I was in college. I think I was about 20 years old. And I don't know if that's late, to be honest. Is that late for some people? Let me know in the comments down below. Is that late? I started off with eyeliner. And I used to use the Kajal eyeliners. Kajal eyeliners, I literally would put them on my eyes, do a nice wing liner, and put a little mascara on, and that would be it. And then it transpired into me starting off with my brows. And I actually use the same things I used to use when I first started on my brows still till today. So it's actually funny, but I found a way to express myself. When I first started out with makeup, I started off with my brows. I then started out trying to contour. Oh my goodness, you guys do not even understand how long it took me to learn how to contour my face. But it finally took, and I finally understood the process, and I finally understood how to contour my face. And here we are today with a beat face. So that is something that I really didn't know how to do at first. But makeup is something that when I first started working in the makeup industry, especially when I started working at MAC, I really took some time to just really embrace it and like really understand it, and like understand shade ranges, understand brows, understand highlighting. So it's something that I really love, and you guys know this on my channel. My channel is basically mostly makeup, and I'm sure you guys have learned a lot from me too, makeup wise. The second creative outlet that I have is crafting. And where do I start? I've always loved DIY projects. Over the years, I've done them less and less. And the truth about it is, I just stopped doing them as much because I didn't know what to start doing. I didn't know what crafts to start doing. So when I got a chance to work with Cricut, I was really excited because I was like, wow, I can actually start crafting again, and this can become one of my creative outlets. Now, the Cricut machine is a machine that cuts over 100 materials, and that is actually crazy. That means it cuts wood, it cuts paper, it cuts crepe paper, and I love that about it. It's very easy to use. When I first started using my Cricut, I actually thought I was going to not know how to use it. I thought that I was going to just start using it and then it'd be like this whole very intricate ordeal. But when I first started using it, I was like, wow, this is actually really easy. All I do is I take the mat, I cut out my shape, I put it on there, I take my laptop, I type it in, I type in what I want to design, I put it in there, and I cut. And then after I cut, I paste it on whatever I want to paste it on. Now, I'm not gonna lie, it took the first couple of tries on my Cricut machine. It was very hard for me to like actually cut out those things, but then I started realizing I was doing it wrong, and I was like, wait a minute, you're actually meant to cut out the words separately with a tool. So I wasn't using the tool, and as you can see, I finally was able to make something, and now I'm basically using it for every single thing. Like I'm using my Cricut machine for like everything. Like Amari's birthday is actually coming up in June, and I definitely am going to use it for his little cups and things for his birthday, because I think that's going to be such a cool idea. But I love using the Cricut machine. It's very easy, it's very simple. It cuts shapes and letters out really well. And if you haven't already checked it out, you should definitely check it out, because for me, it was something that I added to my creative outlet. I got really into it, and I'm actually now buying more paper for it. I'm now moving on to my third creative outlet, which is journaling. Now, journaling has always been a thing for me. The first time I started journaling was actually when I had this old blog of mine called Bellamy. Nobody used to read that blog, but I used to post on that blog every single day. And I started that blog honestly because I wanted to be a blogger. Like, look at me now. But I started that blog because I wanted to be a blogger, and that was my form of journaling. I actually used to write my thoughts down, and I don't know if that blog is still existing. I think it is. Sometimes I go back and I like read it because I'm like, what were you thinking back then? But it was just my way of creative outlet. It was I used to post only black and white pictures on there and things like that. And then slowly I started journaling on paper. Journaling on paper for me had actually started from when I was almost like 10 years old. I started having diaries. That's what they used to call them. We used to call them diaries, not journaling. It was just diaries. And I used to have a lot of diaries. I used to literally go and write my day-to-day activities on each of my diary entries. And I remember my first diary that I actually finished, I think I still have it, but it was like this big, and I literally wrote out all the things. I would write my diary entries at the end of the night, and it was just really fun to do, to be honest. It was really fun to do. Now I don't do it as much. I now journal, which means I write my thoughts down, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm not as consistent in my journaling, but I do journal at least a couple of times a month, and sometimes a couple of times a week, depending on what's going on. Journaling is an expression of like what you have in your mind. Sometimes we have a lot of thoughts in our mind, and sometimes it's so hard for us to just have it in there and not like express ourselves, especially when things are not going right. So journaling was an amazing outlet for me. It was something that I definitely took upon myself, and I was like, okay, this is something that I'm going to do. And then I started doing it, and now I really enjoy it, and it's something that I've definitely added to my routine. Now, last but certainly not least, photography. Now, photography is kind of like makeup, but photography for me runs deep. I started off with photography actually maybe when I was like 12 or 13. My dad bought me my first camera. Wow, nostalgia. My dad bought me my first camera, and when he bought me my camera, I was really excited to just take pictures of me, my friends, things like that. And I just used to go everywhere with it. This was before we even had phone cameras. Then we finally got phone cameras, and I started taking pictures with my phone cameras. And then Instagram started, and that was like 8 years ago. And when Instagram started, I think that's where I really started doing photography a lot more. I started taking pictures of every single thing. I started putting it on Instagram. Before you guys even knew me as a beauty influencer and everything I'm doing right now, I actually started off taking pictures of everything, the mundane things in life. I just started taking pictures of it, and I had a very clean feed because I was very particular about my feed, and I still am. But I was just really happy about photography being my outlet. And I used to work at that time, and when I was working, I would literally take my camera and take pictures of everything. As I was taking pictures of everything, I would like document things and put it on Instagram and do those things, and it was just fun for me, to be honest. It was fun for me, and till now it's still fun for me. Photography is still a huge part of my life. It's still something that I use as my outlet. Sometimes, honestly, waking up in the morning and being able to like take pictures of myself and document moments is something that really fulfills me. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. It was a short one, but I wanted to make a video that was real quick and real simple about my creative outlets, and to share with you guys a little bit about my creative journey. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Give me a thumbs up if you have, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.